Throughout this Warrior series, we've talked a lot about different characters that have had an influence on the Orkney Islands, which is of course where we make our famous whiskey. There is none more celebrated than Thorfinn. Thorfinn benefited from Einar's death because he then took control of the Orkney Islands. But he was also a very clever man, a very powerful man, a very well-respected leader who commanded huge respect because of not only his switched on and tactical ability, but also because of his powerful persona, his ability with a spear, and his recognition on the battlefield that stood out from any other because of his gilded gold helmet that he wore. But he lived a prosperous life here on Orkney, commanding the northern parts of Scotland and some of the Western Isles. And he's one of the few warriors who managed to live his whole life and die a natural death. And when he passed away, he was of course buried, fittingly, in the St Magnus Cathedral, here in Kirkwall, on Orkney. Now, the whisky that we have used to create and recreate his personality is the pinnacle of this Warrior series. Huge amounts of European oak sherry casks, rare, hard to get hold of. The characteristics that come from this wood are fruity and rich. As you would expect from any great leader, this is the type of spirit that we feel give his characteristics the credit and respect that they deserve. Now, Thorfinn, as I say, unusually wore a gold gilded helmet. Silver was actually the pinnacle metal for the Vikings around this time. So it was very distinctive that Thorfinn wore this in battle. Now, the whisky itself has a nice red ruby note coming through, and this is given over time by the European oak sherry casks. The smell, the aroma of this whisky has some wonderful light herbal notes, things like coriander and ginger. But as you would expect from the European oak sherry cask, you get some wonderful fruit notes. I've mentioned syrup and chocolate in some of the whiskies before this, but this is a wonderful combination of those two characteristics combined with some of these herbal notes. Makes an interesting, complex character. On the palate, again, you get this wonderful eucalyptus and cardamom note, slight herbal coriander, and then plum, raisin, really rich butterscotch and honeycomb flavour, and then drying off on the finish as the smoke comes through, as you would always expect from Highland Park, the gentle aromatic smoke. Now, this whisky is a wonderful interpretation of one of the most celebrated warriors, not only in Orkney, but in Europe. This is Thorfinn, the pinnacle of the Warrior series. Skål.